Cast Away is a 2000 American survival drama film directed and produced by Robert Zemeckis, and starring Tom Hanks, Helen Hunt, and Nick Searcy. The film follows the story of Chuck Noland, a FedEx executive who is stranded on a deserted island after a plane crash and his struggle for survival in the harsh environment of the island. The movie begins with Chuck Noland, Tom Hanks, a fastidious FedEx systems engineer who travels around the world to fix problems in their delivery systems. He has a girlfriend, Kelly Frears, Helen Hunt, who works as an artist in Memphis. Chuck's job is his life, and he is always on the move, leaving no time for himself or his loved ones. Chuck is sent to Malaysia on a mission to improve the efficiency of a FedEx distribution center. While on a flight back home to Memphis, his plane crashes into the Pacific Ocean, and he is the only survivor. He manages to escape the sinking plane and washes up on a deserted island. He is stranded there with no food, water, or shelter. Chuck is initially overwhelmed and confused by his situation. He has no idea where he is, how he got there, or how long he will be stranded. He tries to signal for help by lighting a signal fire, but it fails to attract any rescuers. He realizes that he is alone and must find a way to survive. He sets out to explore the island and find food and water. He learns to catch fish, collect rainwater, and make fire. He also uses the wreckage of the plane to create shelter for himself. As time passes, Chuck becomes more and more resourceful, but he is still haunted by his isolation and loneliness. Chuck starts talking to a volleyball he found among the wreckage, which he names Wilson, and treats like a companion. This shows the human need for companionship, and how isolation can affect one's mental state. Chuck also suffers from injuries and illnesses that he has to treat himself, such as a toothache and a severe cut on his leg. As the years go by, Chuck becomes a skilled survivalist, but he is still desperate to escape the island and return home. He builds a raft to leave the island but is thwarted by a storm that destroys his raft and injures him. Finally, after being stranded on the island for 4 years, Chuck is rescued by a passing cargo ship. He returns home to Memphis, where he discovers that his girlfriend Kelly has moved on and married someone else, and his friends and colleagues have moved on with their lives. Chuck's life has been irreversibly changed by his experience on the island. He struggles to adapt to his old life and cope with the trauma of his isolation. He also has to come to terms with the fact that everything he knew and loved has changed. The movie ends with Chuck driving down a deserted road in Texas, with no clear destination or purpose, symbolizing that he is still searching for meaning and purpose in his life. Cast Away is a movie that explores themes such as survival, isolation, and the human need for companionship. It shows how a person can be stripped of everything they know and love and still find the strength to survive. It also shows how isolation can affect a person's mental state and how they can develop coping mechanisms to deal with it. The movie also explores the idea of fate and the randomness of life. Chuck's life is turned upside down by a single event that he had no control over. He is forced to adapt to his new circumstances and find meaning and purpose in his life. Overall, Cast Away is a moving and thought-provoking movie that explores the human condition and the struggle for survival in a harsh and unforgiving